Pythagoreanism wasn't just a school of mathematics. It was a mystical philosophy, a way of life, and a sacred science. Founded by Pythagoras of Samos in the 6th century BCE, this spiritual path blended ethics, cosmology, and number theory into a unified worldview. Pythagoras, often shrouded in legend, was more than a mathematician. He was regarded by his followers as a semi-divine teacher who taught that all is number. He founded a community in Croton, southern Italy, where initiates followed strict rules of conduct, shared property, practiced silence, and sought purification of the soul through virtue and reason. This wasn't just philosophy, it was a form of spiritual initiation. At the core of Pythagorean teaching was the belief in the harmony of the universe. The tetractys, a sacred triangle of 10 dots, symbolized cosmic order, the 4 elements, and the unity of all things. Pythagoras discovered that musical harmony could be expressed mathematically, plucking strings at simple ratios, 2 to 1 for an octave, 3 to 2 for a fifth, revealed that vibration and proportion govern not just music, but the cosmos itself. This led to the belief in a music of the spheres, a celestial symphony created by the movements of the planets, inaudible to human ears but deeply felt by the soul. Pythagoras also made groundbreaking contributions to mathematics, most famously the Pythagorean theorem. But for him, math was never just calculation, it was revelation. Numbers revealed divine order and offered a path to self-knowledge. Even numbers and odd numbers had personalities, spiritual meanings. This was arithmology, the mystical study of numbers as living realities. Pythagoreanism deeply influenced Plato, one of the most important philosophers in history. While Plato rarely mentioned Pythagoras directly, his ideas echo Pythagorean doctrine throughout. In Plato's academy, mathematics and geometry were foundational. His idea of the world of forms, abstract, perfect ideals beyond the material world, mirrors the Pythagorean belief in a higher reality governed by harmony and proportion. In the Timaeus, Plato speaks of the soul of the world being composed with harmonic ratios, the same ones used in music and geometry. The cosmos itself, according to Plato, was a living being, shaped by a divine artisan, using mathematical order. Plato turned Pythagorean mysticism into a philosophical framework, blending reason with transcendence. His work became the bridge that carried Pythagoreanism into the heart of Western metaphysics. Centuries later, Pythagorean ideas were revived and transformed by Neo-Pythagoreanism, a profound spiritual movement emerging in the 1st century BCE. This path wove together ascetic discipline, the doctrine of reincarnation, and the sacred purification of the soul through the sacred language of number and virtue. To Neo-Pythagoreans, the soul was a divine spark, temporarily veiled by the material world, its ultimate destiny to return to the eternal realm of light and harmony by transcending bodily attachments and aligning with cosmic order. Yet it was within the blossoming of Neoplatonism, guided by luminous minds like Plotinus, Porphyry, and Iamblichus, that Pythagoreanism truly found its mystical rebirth. Plotinus expanded Plato's vision into a radiant hierarchy of being, descending from the ineffable One, the source beyond all attributes, through the realm of divine intellect and soul, finally reaching the material plane. This great chain of existence was not merely philosophical. It was a living ladder for the soul's ascent back to the One, the source of all light and unity. Iamblichus, however, took this mystical vision into the realm of sacred practice. He reintroduced the urgy, a potent system of divine rites and symbols that served as magical keys to unlock the soul's return. Theurgy was more than ritual. It was a cosmic dialogue where the initiate, through sacred gestures, prayers, and symbols, communed with the gods and the very fabric of the cosmos. It was believed that these divine actions could elevate the soul beyond reason alone, opening direct channels to the ineffable divine. In this sacred context, numbers, symbols, and sacred geometry were no longer abstract or metaphorical. They were alive, vibrating with divine power and intelligence. Each number was a living entity, a celestial force that shaped reality and influenced the soul's journey. The sacred figures, triangles, circles, and the mystical tetractys were keys to hidden dimensions, maps for navigating the spiritual realms. Together, Neo-Pythagoreanism and Neoplatonism forged a mystical path of divine ascent, where understanding the cosmic architecture was synonymous with aligning one's own soul with the divine will. This path offered initiates a transformative journey to purify, to awaken, and to ultimately dissolve the illusion of separateness, returning to the original unity, the eternal source from which all life and light emerge. It was a sacred science of transformation, where the cosmos was seen as a living temple, and the soul's return was a sacred pilgrimage through number, harmony, and divine light. Here, the universe revealed itself not as chaos, but as a harmonious symphony waiting for the soul to tune itself into its eternal song. The thread didn't end there. In the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, thinkers like Nicomachus of Gerasa turned Pythagorean number mysticism into a detailed theological system. His introduction to Arithmetica became a foundation for medieval Christian and Islamic mysticism, proposing that numbers were divine principles, not human inventions. He believed that arithmetical harmony reflected the spiritual architecture of the cosmos, that studying numbers was to study God's own mind. Meanwhile, Philo of Alexandria, a Jewish Hellenistic philosopher, merged Jewish scripture with Greek metaphysics. He saw the number 7 as sacred and echoed Pythagorean views by describing the universe as governed by logos, divine reason. Philo's work was an early synthesis of mysticism, mathematics, and theology, a vision where sacred number, divine order, and spiritual ascent were deeply intertwined. Both Nicomachus and Philo helped keep Pythagorean metaphysics alive, embedding it into Christian, Gnostic, and Hermetic traditions. Pythagoreanism, with its blend of sacred geometry, virtue ethics, and soul purification, became a fountainhead for ancient mystery traditions. The Orphics, Eleusinian mysteries, and Hermetic schools of Egypt all drew from its wisdom. Later, the Gnostics and Kabbalists would do the same. These schools saw the physical world as a veil hiding divine reality. Through initiation, ritual, and symbolic transformation, they believed the soul could awaken to its true nature. Like Pythagoras, they used symbols, chants, numbers, and geometric patterns as keys to unlock the divine. The sacred was encoded in form, proportion, and rhythm. In these traditions, Pythagoreanism became a living current of esoteric knowledge passed down through hidden lineages. We'll explore Orphism, the Eleusinian rites, and Gnosticism in future videos. So if you want to keep diving into this hidden world, make sure you're subscribed and have tapped the bell. These are not just teachings, they are maps of the soul's return. Centuries after Pythagoras, the Roman world saw the rise of Apollonius of Tyana, a mystic philosopher who claimed to follow in Pythagoras's footsteps. Regarded by some as a miracle worker and by others as a divine teacher, Apollonius wandered across the known world, India, Egypt, Persia, spreading teachings of purity, asceticism, and divine harmony. He believed the soul could be perfected through discipline, virtue, silence, and communion with the divine order of nature. His life was filled with tales of visions, prophecies, and transcendence. For many, he was a second Pythagoras, a reminder that ancient wisdom could live again through those who fully embodied it. In his philosophy, numbers weren't mere abstractions. They were the vibration of truth, the heartbeat of the universe. Like his predecessor, Apollonius taught that harmony between the inner world and the cosmos was the path to spiritual liberation. The Renaissance, an era of profound rediscovery and radiant rebirth, ignited a powerful resurgence of Pythagorean thought that transcended mere scholarship, transforming into a living spiritual awakening. Humanist scholars, Hermetic initiates, and mystical mathematicians turned their gaze toward antiquity, not just seeking knowledge, but divine revelation. In this sacred quest, the ancient teachings of Pythagoras were reborn with renewed vigor and luminous depth, becoming a beacon for those yearning to unlock the secrets of the cosmos and the soul. During this time, the Renaissance became a sacred alchemy of intellect and spirit, where the study of mathematics, music, and astronomy was no longer confined to earthly disciplines, but embraced as holy mysteries, pathways to the divine. Thinkers intuited that the cosmos was composed like a celestial symphony, where every number, every ratio was a vibrational key, unlocking the blueprint of creation itself. They believed that proportion and harmony were not just external laws of nature, but sacred mirrors reflecting the inner architecture of the soul, the subtle geometry of consciousness aligned with cosmic order. The golden ratio, a divine proportion found in the spirals of seashells, the branching of trees, and the very structure of galaxies, was hailed as the signature of the Creator's hand. This mystical number became a sacred cipher encoded in the fabric of reality, a bridge between the finite and the infinite. Artists and architects infused their work with this cosmic principle, striving to awaken the beholder's soul through harmonious form and radiant symmetry. Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man stands as a luminous symbol of this cosmic harmony, a visual hymn to the Pythagorean ideal that the human body is a microcosm of the universe, perfectly proportioned and connected to the celestial order. Every line, every circle in his drawing pulses with the silent music of the spheres, revealing that within the human form lies the key to understanding the vastness of creation. Beyond art and science, Renaissance mystics and philosophers wove Pythagorean concepts into esoteric traditions, blending number mysticism, Hermetic wisdom, and Neoplatonic philosophy into a tapestry of sacred knowledge. They envisioned a universe alive with spirit and number, where geometry was a divine language spoken by angels, and the soul's ascent was charted through the harmonies of the cosmos. This era didn't merely revive Pythagorean ideas, it consecrated them, embedding their sacred truths into the very fabric of Western art, science, and mystical practice. It laid the foundation for modern esoteric traditions, a spiritual lineage that continues to inspire seekers to awaken to the cosmic order and the divine rhythm that pulses through all existence. Though the ancient Pythagorean school is long gone, its legacy lives on, especially in art, science, and spirituality. The golden ratio, one of Pythagoreanism's most profound insights, appears in nature, architecture, and even the human body. From the spirals of galaxies to the structure of DNA, the golden ratio shows up as a blueprint of universal beauty and balance. Modern mystics, sacred architects, and artists still revere sacred geometry as a way to align with divine principles. Even in psychology and neuroscience, rhythm, pattern, and proportion are now seen as crucial to cognition and consciousness. Meditation practices, sound healing, and digital art inspired by harmonic ratios all trace back to Pythagoras' original vision that the universe is a song and we are notes within it. In the 20th century, as the world grappled with rapid scientific advancement and profound cultural shifts, there emerged a remarkable resurgence of ancient wisdom traditions, among them the profound legacy of Pythagorean thought. This revival breathed new life into Pythagorean symbolism, weaving it into the vibrant tapestry of modern esotericism. Visionaries, mystics, and seekers from diverse occult and philosophical paths turned once again to Pythagoras, seeing in his teachings a luminous bridge between the realms of science, spirituality, and inner transformation. Pythagorean concepts of harmony, proportion, and cosmic order ceased to be mere abstract ideas. Instead, they blossomed into living, practical tools for aligning the human psyche with the subtle rhythms of the universe. The sacred geometry that once guided the construction of temples and the tuning of musical instruments now infused emerging fields like sound therapy, depth psychology, and energy healing with a divine pulse. Each geometric pattern, each harmonic ratio, became a key to unlocking hidden dimensions within the self, a sacred map guiding the soul back to its cosmic source. Within the sacred halls of the Theosophical Society, Freemasonry, and contemporary mystery schools, Pythagorean wisdom forms the very backbone of ritual and symbolism. Here, ancient arithmology resonates through ceremonial rites, initiatory journeys, and philosophical teachings, inviting initiates to perceive reality as a sacred symphony. Sacred geometry manifests not only in the design of temples and sacred spaces, but also in visionary art, mandalas, and modern digital creations, vibrant, pulsating portals to higher consciousness. The rise of digital mandalas, binaural beats, and numerology apps are not merely technological novelties. They are the 21st century echoes of Pythagorean arithmology, extending the ancient dialogue between number and spirit into new realms. Through these modern expressions, seekers can immerse themselves in the vibrational language of the cosmos, attuning their minds and hearts to the subtle harmonies that underlie all existence. Far from being a relic of the past, Pythagoreanism continues to flow as a living current, a sacred science whispering through the veils of time. It reminds us that the universe is not random chaos, but a vast, radiant tapestry woven from patterns of order and light. In the pulse of every number, the curve of every spiral, and the silence between every note, Pythagorean wisdom calls us to awaken, to remember that we are threads in the cosmic fabric, harmonizing with the eternal music of the spheres. Pythagoreanism wasn't just about triangles and equations. It was a sacred science, a philosophy of the soul, and a path to divine remembrance. To understand it fully is to hear the music behind the stars, to see the pattern beneath the chaos, and to remember that we, too, are part of a greater harmony. If you feel the call to awaken your own inner harmony, to uncover the hidden rhythms of the cosmos, and to journey deeper into the mysteries of sacred knowledge, then join us. Subscribe and tap the bell, step through the veil with us, where ancient wisdom and cosmic secrets await. Together we'll explore the silent symphony of the spheres, decode the language of the universe, and walk the path of the soul's return.